What does this arm signal mean? The driver is slowing down. The driver intends to turn right. The driver wishes to overtake. The driver intends to turn left. You're on a smart motorway. What does it mean when a mandatory speed limit is displayed above the hard shoulder? You shouldn't travel in this lane. The hard shoulder can be used as a running lane. You can park on the hard shoulder if you feel tired. You can pull up in this lane to answer a mobile phone. You're traveling at the legal speed limit. What should you do if the vehicle behind approaches quickly, flashing its headlights? Accelerate to make a gap behind you. Touch the brakes sharply to show your brake lights. Maintain your speed to prevent the vehicle from overtaking. Allow the vehicle to overtake. You're on a motorway. What should you do if there's a red cross showing on the signs above your lane only? Continue in that lane and look for further information. Don't continue in that lane. Pull onto the hard shoulder. Stop and wait for an instruction to proceed. Why are vehicle mirrors often slightly curved, convex? They give a wider field of vision. They totally cover blind spots. They make it easier to judge the speed of the traffic behind. They make the traffic behind look bigger. What should you do when you're approaching roadworks on a motorway? Speed up to clear the area quickly. Always use the hard shoulder. Obey the speed limit. Stay very close to the vehicle in front. You're following a large vehicle. Why should you stay a safe distance behind it? You'll be able to corner more quickly. You'll help the large vehicle to stop more easily. You'll give the driver a chance to see you in their mirrors. You'll keep out of the wind better. When would you use an emergency refuge area on a smart motorway? In cases of emergency or breakdown. If you think you'll be involved in a road rage incident. To stop and check where you are. To make a private phone call. Which sign shows that you're entering a one-way system? At an incident, a casualty isn't breathing. What should you do while helping them to start breathing again? Put their arms across their chest. Shake them firmly. Roll them onto their side. Open their airway. At night, what does it mean if you see a pedestrian wearing reflective clothing and carrying a bright red light? You're approaching roadworks. You're approaching an organized walk. You're approaching a slow-moving vehicle. You're approaching a traffic danger spot. What's the purpose of the yellow lines painted across the road? To show a safe distance between vehicles. To keep the area clear of traffic. To make you aware of your speed. To warn you to change direction. You're in a line of traffic. What action should you take if the driver behind is following very closely? Ignore the driver behind and continue to travel within the speed limit. Slow down, gradually increasing the gap between you and the vehicle in front. Signal left and wave the driver behind to come past. Move over to a position just left of the center line of the road. What does it mean if you see the signal on the motorway? Leave the motorway at the next exit. All vehicles use the hard shoulder. Sharp bend to the left ahead. Stop, all lanes ahead closed. The fluid level in your battery is low. What fluid should you use to top it up? Battery acid, distilled water, engine oil, engine coolant. What could you do to reduce the volume of traffic on the roads? Drive in a bus lane. Use a car with a smaller engine. Walk or cycle on short journeys. Travel by car at all times. What could you do to reduce the volume of traffic on the roads? Drive in a bus lane. Use a car with a smaller engine. Walk or cycle on short journeys. Travel by car at all times. Why should you switch off your rear fog lights when the fog has cleared? To allow your headlights to work. To stop draining the battery. To stop the engine losing power. To prevent dazzling drivers behind. You're carrying two 13-year-old children and their parents in your car. Who's responsible for seeing that the children wear seat belts? The children's parents. You, the driver. The front seat passenger. The children. You're looking for somewhere to safely park your vehicle. Where would you choose to park? At or near a bus stop? In a designated parking space? Near the brow of a hill? On the approach to a level crossing? When may you stop on an urban clearway? To set down and pick up passengers. To use a mobile telephone. To ask for directions. To load or unload goods. Where would you find green reflective studs on a motorway? Separating driving lanes. Between the hard shoulder and the carriageway. At slip road entrances and exits. Between the carriageway and the central reservation. A police officer asks to see your documents. You don't have them with you. How many days do you have to produce them at a police station? 5 days. 7 days. 14 days. 21 days. When may you stop on an urban clearway? To set down and pick up passengers. To use a mobile telephone. To ask for directions. To load or unload goods. Where would you find green reflective studs on a motorway? Separating driving lanes. Between the hard shoulder and the carriageway. At slip road entrances and exits. Between the carriageway and the central reservation. A police officer asks to see your documents. You don't have them with you. How many days do you have to produce them at a police station? 5 days. 7 days. 14 days. 21 days. You're driving in a built-up area that has traffic calming measures. What should you do when you approach a road hump? Move across to the left-hand side of the road. Wait for any pedestrians to cross. Check your mirror and slow down. Stop and check both pavements. What will affect your vehicle's stopping distance? The speed limit. The street lighting. The time of day. The condition of the tires. What does it mean if this light comes on while you're driving? A fault in the braking system. The engine oil is low. A rear light has failed. Your seat belt isn't fastened. An adult casualty isn't breathing. To maintain circulation, CPR should be given. What's the correct depth to press down on their chest? 1 to 2 centimeters. 5 to 6 centimeters. 10 to 15 centimeters. 15 to 20 centimeters. You're driving on a wet road. What should you do if you have to stop your vehicle in an emergency? Apply the parking brake and foot brake together. Keep both hands on the steering wheel. Select reverse gear. Give an arm signal. Who is authorized to signal you to stop? A motorcyclist. A pedestrian. A police officer. A bus driver. A police car is following you. What should you do if the police officer flashes the headlights and points to the left? Turn left at the next junction. Pull up on the left. Stop immediately. Move over to the left. What can you expect if you drive using rapid acceleration and heavy braking? Reduced pollution. Increased fuel consumption. Reduced exhaust emissions. Increased road safety. What does a red traffic light mean? You should stop unless turning left. Stop, if you're able to brake safely. You must stop and wait behind the stop line. Proceed with care. Who's responsible for making sure that a vehicle isn't overloaded? The driver of the vehicle. The owner of the items being carried. The person who loaded the vehicle. The licensing authority. What's a cover note? A document issued before you receive your driving license. A document issued before you receive your insurance certificate. A document issued before you receive your registration document. A document issued before you receive your MO certificate. What should you do if your vehicle catches fire while you're driving through a tunnel? Leave it where it is, with the engine running. Pull up, then walk to an emergency telephone. Park it away from the carriageway. Drive it out of the tunnel if it's safe to do so. Where should you avoid overtaking? Just after a bend. In a one-way street. On a 30-mile-per-hour road. Approaching a dip in the road. What action should you take when you see flashing amber lights under a school warning sign? Reduce speed until you're clear of the area. Keep up your speed and sound the horn. Increase your speed to clear the area quickly. Wait at the lights until they stop flashing. What does this sign mean? Wait at the barriers. Wait at the crossroads. Give way to trams. Give way to farm vehicles. Should you make sure that your indicators are cancelled after turning at a junction? To avoid flattening the battery. To avoid misleading other road users. To avoid dazzling other road users. To avoid damage to the indicator relay. What should you do before making a U-turn? Give an arm signal as well as using your indicators. Check road markings to see that U-turns are permitted. Look over your shoulder for a final check. Select a higher gear than normal. When are you allowed to park in a parking bay for disabled drivers? When you have a blue badge. When you have a wheelchair. When you have an advanced driver certificate. When you have an adapted vehicle. What do the lines along the center of the road mean? No stopping. No overtaking. They mark the center of the road. There's a hazard ahead. You want to overtake the tractor. What should you do? Speed up and overtake before you get to the bend. Stay behind and wait until you have a clear view. Overtake straight after the oncoming car passes. Sound your horn and make the tractor pull over. Why has the tractor got flashing amber lights? To warn you it's a slow-moving vehicle. To warn you it has a wide load. To tell you not to overtake. To warn you it's breaking down. You're following two cyclists as they approach a roundabout in the left-hand lane. Where would you expect the cyclists to go? Left? Right? Any direction? Straight ahead? What should you do if you have to make a journey in foggy conditions? Follow other vehicles' tail lights closely. Avoid using dipped headlights. Leave plenty of time for your journey. Keep 2 seconds behind the vehicle ahead. A horse rider is in the left-hand lane approaching a roundabout. Where should you expect the rider to go? In any direction. To the right. To the left. Straight ahead. Who has priority when traffic lights are out of order? Traffic going straight on. Traffic turning right. Nobody. Traffic turning left. Which diagram shows a hazard warning line? You're driving on a road with several lanes. What do these signs above the lanes mean? The 2 right lanes are open. The 2 left lanes are open. Traffic in the left lanes should stop. Traffic in the right lanes should stop. How can you avoid wheelspin when you're driving on an icy road? Drive at a slow speed in the highest gear possible. Use the parking brake if the wheels start to slip. Brake gently and repeatedly. Drive in a low gear at all times. What does this sign mean? End of restricted speed area. End of restricted parking area. End of clearway. End of cycle route. To turn right at a box junction. What should you do if there's oncoming traffic? Wait in the box junction if your exit is clear. Wait before the junction until it's clear of all traffic. Drive on. You can't turn right at a box junction. Drive slowly into the box junction when signaled by oncoming traffic. The fluid level in your battery is low. What fluid should you use to top it up? Battery acid. Distilled water. Engine oil. Engine coolant. What could you do to reduce the volume of traffic on the roads? Drive in a bus lane. Use a car with a smaller engine. Walk or cycle on short journeys. Travel by car at all times. Why should you switch off your rear fog lights when the fog has cleared? To allow your headlights to work. To stop draining the battery. To stop the engine losing power. To prevent dazzling drivers behind. You're carrying two 13-year-old children and their parents in your car. Who's responsible for seeing that the children wear seat belts? The children's parents. You, the driver. The front seat passenger. The children. You're looking for somewhere to safely park your vehicle. Where would you choose to park? At or near a bus stop? In a designated parking space? Near the brow of a hill? On the approach to a level crossing? What does this sign mean? Hump bridge. Humps in the road. Entrance to tunnel. Soft verges. You're about to go down a steep hill. What should you do to control the speed of your vehicle? Select a high gear and use the brakes carefully. Select a high gear and use the brakes firmly. Select a low gear and use the brakes carefully. Select a low gear and avoid using the brakes. In winter, road signs can become covered by snow. What does this sign mean? Crossroads. Give way. Stop. Turn right. The fluid level in your battery is low. What fluid should you use to top it up? Battery acid. Distilled water. Engine oil. Engine coolant. What could you do to reduce the volume of traffic on the roads? Drive in a bus lane. Use a car with a smaller engine. Walk or cycle on short journeys. Travel by car at all times.